Отново се опитва да направи прогрес, за да достигне пълен успех, осени на Куру. Пояснение от Прабхупада. Цар Барата, който се ражда в семейство на истински брамана, е пример за добро раждане, подходящо за съживяване на трансценденталното съзнание в предишния живот. Той бил император на света и по времето на неговото царуване земята е била известна след полувековието като Барата Варша. Преди това тя е била известна като Имаврита Варша. Императорът още твърде млад се отказва от трона, за да достигне духовно съвършенство, но успява. В следващия си живот той се ражда в семейството на добър брамана и е известен под името Джада Барата, защото живее осамотен и не говори с никого. По-късно цар на Пагана е познавал в него най-великият трансценденталист. От историята на неговия живот може да разберем, че трансценденталните стремежи за практикуването на йога никога не са напразни. В милостта на Господа, всеки трансценденталист отново и отново получава благоприятната възможност да постигне пълно съвършенство в Кришна съзнание.
Tatratam buddhisam yogam labade porvadehikam yadate chatato bhuya samstito kurunandana. On taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Kuru.
Когато получи такава раждане, той пробужда божественото си съзнание от предишния живот и отново се опитва да направи прогрес, за да достигне пълен успех, осени на Куру.
So this is the advantage of taking such a birth. Because previously it has been explained that a yogi who is not so much advanced in the process of yoga, if he deviates from the yoga practice, then he might attain the heavenly planets in order to enjoy. And then he again takes birth in a righteous or aristocratic family. But a yogi who practices the yoga system for a long time, when he takes birth again, he takes birth in a family of transcendentalists, a family of yogis, or even in a family of devotees. And also he is no longer attracted in that birth. He is no longer attracted to karma khandya activities, fruitive activities. But somehow he immediately tries to purify his existence. And he is fully fixed due to his previous samskaras, his spiritual practices, advancement. He is immediately fixed. He feels the impetus to now succeed in the yoga process. And there are several examples given in the Srimad Bhagavatam and various other shastras. Here, Srila Prabhupada gives the example of Jada Bharat. King Bharata, he renounced his kingdom and he wanted to attain spiritual perfection. So he was very advanced, even up to the stage of bhava. Still he became attached to a deer. and he took birth as a deer.
И затова се родил като елен.
Then again he took birth as Jadabharata.
След това се родил като Джадабарата.
And we know the story from Srimad Bhagavatam. He was very, very cautious not to commit the same mistake again.
От Шримад Бхагаватам ние знаем тази история. Той бил изключително много внимавал да не допусне отново същата грешка.
So that's a symptom of a very advanced, elevated soul.
И това е отличителна черта на много напреднало духовно отношение човек, на велика душа.
He's very much fixed in his life to purify his existence
Той е твърдо решен да пречисти съществуването си,
in order to complete the yoga process.
за да завърши процесът на йога.
And, other examples are given, just like King Nimi also.
Дават се и други примери, като цар Ними.
King Nimi, he took birth in Janaka's family.
Цар Ними се родил в семейството на Джанака.
And King Nimi also, although he was a king himself, but he was only interested in spiritual advancement.
И въпреки, че самият Ними бил цар, единственото, което го интересувало, било духовния напредък.
And so by the arrangement of the Lord, he met the 9 Yogindras.
И по волята на Бога той срещна 9 йогинджи.
And he immediately took advantage and inquired about perfection of life.
Той веднага се възползва от тази среща и попита какво е съвършенството на живота.
And another example is Saubari Muni.
Друг пример е Саубари Муни.
He also took such a birth.
Той също получил такова раждане.
Somehow he could not complete the yoga process, although he was meditating for 60,000 years.
Въпреки че медитира в продължение на 60,000 години, той не успял да завърши процеса.
But then again, he became fixed on achieving the goal of the yoga process.
Но после отново започнал с твърда решителност да се стреми към целта на процеса на йога.
So King Rahugana, he inquired from Jadabharata about the actual cause of his advancement. He was inquiring, how is it possible that you attain such an elevated position? And he answered that it is only possible due to the mercy of a pure devotee of the Lord. So this is a very, very significant statement. Nobody can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. The only one who possesses Krishna, he can deliver Krishna to others. Therefore the Vaishnavacharyas, or one of our Vaishnavacharyas, he is praying in one of his songs. Oh Vaishnav Thakur, I'm weeping, and I'm running behind you, shouting Krishna, Krishna, because you have Krishna, you can deliver Krishna to me. And there's one verse spoken by Krishna that I am in the heart of my devotee, and my devotee is in my heart. I am holding his heart in my hands, he is holding my heart in his hands. See, that's the intimate relationship between the Lord and his pure devotee. He has nothing else in his heart save and accept Krishna.
В тяхното сърце няма нищо друго, освен Кришна.
Only by coming in contact with such a rare soul is it possible to actually approach the highest destination.
И само когато общува с такава велика душа, човек може да се приближи до най-висшето предназначение.
Which means pure love for Krishna.
И това е чиста любов към Кришна.
And such elevated devotees, they are not even interested in liberation. They're not even interested in, I mentioned the other day, in the Vaishnava liberation even. Or let me serve Krishna on the same planet as Krishna. Let me serve Krishna with the same bodily features as Krishna. He doesn't even have this interest. Because these liberations refer to Vaikuntha. But he is so advanced, so elevated in his love for Krishna that he even surpassed all the Vaikuntha planets. Just like Gop Kumar. And that's the example. He was elevated to Vaikuntha Loka. But he was dressing himself just like a cowherd boy. So the inhabitants of Vaikuntha Loka, they became a little bit disturbed. Why are you dressing like this? And finally, when Gopkumar, when he saw Vishnu, so he called out, "Hey Govinda, hey Gopal." So all the others were closing their ears. Oh, what is he chanting? So he was so much advanced, so elevated. He could not relate to the relationship of awe and reverence, opulence. So then one day, Narada Muni, he came and saw the state or condition of Gopkumar. That somehow he was not satisfied. Although he already attained Vaikuntha. And Narada Muni approached Gopkumar. Now we are here in Vaikuntha. That means nobody should have any anxieties. Then how come you have so much anxiety? So what is wrong with you? So then he began to glorify the pastimes of Krishna. Narada Muni immediately covered his mouth. Shh! Don't speak like this. And then he took him by his hand. And they were both hiding behind a bush. Then he explained to him, nobody should hear this conversation. Because this is unknown to the inhabitants of Vaikuntha. So then he described Goloka Vrindavan, Narada Muni. And then finally, after such a long journey, he eventually attained Goloka Vrindavan. And then Gopkumar, he could see how elevated these Brajbasis were, inhabitants of Vrindavan. Complete, selfless surrender to the Lord. unconditional devotional service.
Безпрекословно предан служител.
These inhabitants of Vrindavan are ready to die for Krishna, whatever he wants.
Жителите на Вриндавана са готови да умрат за Кришна, готови са да изпълнят всяко негово желание.
They only have one thought, how to please, how to love Krishna, nothing else.
В главата ми имат само една мисъл. Как да обичаме Кришна и как да го удовлетворим.
Whatever that means.
Независимо от това какво е необходимо.
So if any devotee attains such a position,
И ако някой предан на даден достигне такава позиция,
oh, the Lord, he feels eternally indebted to such a devotee.
Богът е чувства вечно задължен да такъв предан на даден.
And he makes sure that he will never deviate.
И той сам се грижи такъв предан на даден никога не се отклонява.
Because once such a devotee attained love for Krishna, Krishna will never let him down.
Защото един път предан на даден, като достигне любов към Кришна, Кришна никога не го остави.
Tauntiya pratijanihi nami bhakta panashati. That Arjuna, you should declare boldly that I will never let my devotee down.
Арджуна, ти трябва да заявиш, че мой предан на даден никога не пада.
He will never perish.
Той никога не загине.
Because somehow he conquered Krishna.
Защото по някакъв начин той е завладял Кришна.
Although normally nobody can conquer Krishna.
Въпреки че никой не е способен да завладее Кришна.
But such a pure devotee of Krishna, he can conquer Krishna.
Но чисти предан на даден на Кришна, той може да завладее Кришна.
You see, I'm thinking of one very nice verse in this regard.
И си мисля за един много хубав стих в тази връзка.
It was spoken by Lord Brahma.
Който бил казан от Брахма.
It is Jnani prayasam mudapasya namante eva jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiya vartam stanistita shudikatam tanuvan mano bhiya ye prayasujita jito abhyasi taistralokyam. A devotee who abandons the path of philosophical speculation and engages himself in hearing your glories and activities, and who lives an honest life in the occupational engagement of his social life, can conquer your sympathy and mercy, even though you are agita or unconquerable. And then Sanatana Goswami, he gives the following explanation. This Tanuvan Mano refers to body, words and mind. Sanatana Goswami, he gives three different meanings to this verse. The first one refers to the devotee. Through his body, mind and words, he conquers Krishna. And then another explanation refers to the non-devotees. By their bodily strength, words and mental power, they can never conquer Krishna. And the third explanation refers to Krishna himself. Now his body, mind, words are conquered by his devotee. And such a devotee, or Krishna, he can only think of his devotee. Because his mind is conquered by the devotee. And Krishna's words, they can only talk about his devotee. And Krishna's transcendental body is always close to his devotee. So these are different explanations of Ajita, unconquerable. And Krishna actually enjoys such a relationship. Sometimes it is explained on the Vaikuntha Lokas, that relationship of our reverence. Krishna desires, sometimes he desires another relationship. Not sometimes, he always he's always absorbed in another relationship. The example is given of a king. He's sometimes bored, everybody. When he looks the left side, then people jumping 10 meters back. When he looks right side, then they're jumping 10 meters back. He gets bored in this relationship. Everybody's afraid of him and like this. So sometimes he desires, isn't there anybody who can relate to me in a different way? Who might even offend me? Variety is the mother of enjoyment. So there was such a king. In general, therefore, kings, they keep these jokers. You know Joker? Joker. Harlequin. Yeah. These jokers. They're normally very small, small, and very big mouth. Very big mouth. So, such a joker was Gopal Ban. You might have heard many stories, but we can just repeat a little bit. He was sitting in front of the king 2 meters away. So then king, he was bored. Then he turned to the joker. What's the difference between an ass, between you and an ass? Huh? Gopal Ban? And he said, 2 meters. What's the difference between you and an ass? 2 meters. So all the others, they thought, oh no, he offended the king. But the king, he was enjoying. Oh, he was laughing and laughing. But then another time, Gopal Ban, he stepped a little bit over the border. He went too far. What? Gopal Ban, yes, she said, huh? In her own way, she said. Yeah. Little, she said little. So he offended the king a little bit too much in reference to his wife. So that was, a little bit hit under the belt. So king, he said, oh, now my dear Gopal Ban, that was your last joke. To translate. So the all the inhabitants of the palace, the entourage of the king, ministers, they were shocked. There was dead silence. Everybody lowered his head. Even Gopal Ban, he lost his color. So then the king, he said, Anyway, you were my dear most beloved friend.
И Цар е казал, ти иначе ти беше любимия ми приятел.
So I give you the privilege that you can choose yourself how you want to die.
И затова ти давам такова преимущество, че сам да избереш как да умреш.
Is that all? Thank you very much, my king.
Много благодаря, Светителю.
So how you want to die?
Как искаш да умреш?
Then he said, by old age. Can you translate this? It's difficult. How you say? By old age. And again, king, he was laughing. So that saved his neck. King, he was again pleased. So the pure devotees of Krishna are not so much attracted to the Aishvarya or opulence of the Lord. Now we can give some examples of the Aishvarya Gyan, knowledge about the Lord mixed with a relationship or mood of reverence. Just like Vasudev, Krishna's father, he tells Krishna and Balaram in the Srimad Bhagavatam, oh, you are not actually our sons, but you are directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here we see influence, mixture of the Aishvarya Gyan. Or Arjuna also, when he saw the universal form of Lord Krishna, he prayed to Lord Krishna, oh, please forgive me whatever I may have said to you in the past, due to love and bewilderment. Then we have example of Madhurya Gyan. That is not mixed with Aishvarya Gyan. That mood does not cause even the slightest feelings of awe and reverence after seeing some display of Krishna's prowess or might. Because the feelings of intimacy is already firmly established in the heart of the devotee. There's the example given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Refers the gopis, they are saying Krishna is being praised by demigods who surround and worship him with songs and flowers. And on the way, Brahma and other lords, they praise his feet. But the gopis remained fixed in their sweet romantic feelings for Krishna. So when you imagine that scene, Krishna was surrounded by great demigods, they all worshipped him. Glorifying him as the Supreme Lord. But the gopis just looked at Krishna with romantic feelings. Or Hare Krishna. Sridham, Sudama and other cowherd boys, they saw also these demigods. But also their feelings for Krishna, pure fraternal love for Krishna was not at all slackened.
Но приятелските чувства, които те изпитвали към Кришна, изобщо не намалели.
But they rather thought, yes, our Krishna, he's so nice.
Нашия Кришна е толкова хубав, толкова велик.
Let the whole universe worship him.
Нека цялата вселена, нека всички вселената да го обожават.
Because Krishna, he is our best friend.
Защото Кришна е нашия най-добър приятел.
And the Mother Yashoda, when Nanda Maharaj consoled the Vrajavasis,
И майка Яшода, когато Нанда Махарадж се обърна към Враджабасите.
And then there was a big discussion between Nanda Maharaj and the elderly cowherd boys.
И се проведе голяма дискусия между Нанда Махарадж и по-възрастните пастирчета.
Because they pointed out to Nanda Maharaj,
Защото те казали на Нанда Махарадж.
we feel that you are treating your son not properly.
Смятаме, че не се отнасяш правилно към сина си.
Because he is not an ordinary boy.
Защото той не е просто едно обикновено момче.
He was killing so many mighty demons in the past.
Миналото той уби толкова могъщи демони.
And so we concluded that perhaps your son Krishna, he might be one of the mighty demigods himself.
Сега ние стигнахме до заключението, че може би синът ти Кришна е един от великите полубогове.
Or he might even be Narayana.
Или пък може би е синът Нараяна.
Who knows?
Кой знае?
And then Nanda Maharaj said, yes, I know.
И Нанда Махарадж каза, да, знам за това.
But I have to raise my son properly.
Трябва правилно да възпитам сина си.
If he does some mischief, I have to punish him.
Ако прави пакости, трябва да го наказвам.
So then, after just a few words, he was absorbed in Krishna's pastimes. He just started describing Krishna's pastimes.
И само след още няколко разменени реплики, той вече бил напълно погълнат в забавлението на Кришна и започна да ги описва.
And all the other cowherd boys, the elderly cowherd men, they also became absorbed in Lord Krishna's pastimes.
И всички пастири, те също били напълно погълнати в забавлението на Кришна.
And they all forgot the original point of discussion.
Всички забрали първоначално за какво става дума в този разговор.
They were all laughing, Krishna is so nice.
Смели казали, Кришна е толкова прекрасен.
You see, this Madhurya Gyan, this pure love for Krishna cannot be disturbed by anything.
И тази Мадхуря или чистата любов към Кришна не може да бъде прекъсната по никакъв начин.
The example of a mundane example is given of a mother.
И се дава един материален пример с майка.
Maybe her son becomes the ruler of the whole world.
Дори и синът да стане властелин на целия свят.
But when he visits her at home,
Когато той посети вкъщи,
she still wants to make sure that there's no spot of dirt on his shirt, and she's adjusting the tie and combing his hair a little bit.
Тя проверява дали няма някой леген в бузата му, оправя му вратовръзката, стресва му косата.
Because she cannot relate to his position as being the ruler of the world.
Защото тя не може да се отнася към него като към властелин на целия свят.
She thinks he's my son. So she wants to make sure that he doesn't wear two different colored socks. This is natural. I remember when I visited my mother as a devotee. I was already grown up. And I visited her, and she wanted to immediately embrace and kiss me, and then I thought, I'm a brahmachari, yes. But she cannot relate to these things. I'm grown up, brahmachari. It didn't mean anything to her. So, what to speak of on the spiritual platform? when the devotee accepts or has the relationship with Krishna, or parental relationship,
Когато преданен даден има родителска връзка с Кришна.
they cannot think of any other relationship.
И те не могат, такъв преданен даден не може да мисли за никаква друга връзка с Кришна.
So Mother Yashoda, she could not follow at all the conversation between Nanda Maharaj and the elderly cowherd man. She could not follow, couldn't understand one word.
И майка Йошода не успява абсолютно нищо да разбере от разговора между Нанда Махарадж и пастирите.
Yeah, she was also hearing Krishna, maybe Narayana, and Narayana, Vishnu. She couldn't understand one word.
Тя чува, че Кришна може би Нараяна, Вишну, тя нищо не може да разбере.
She just thought of a small boy, Krishna.
Тя мислила за малкия си син Кришна.
Is he hungry? Where is he right now?
Гладен ли? Къде ли е сега?
So although there might be sometimes the reason that their relationship, Madhurya Gyan, might become disturbed, but it doesn't become disturbed.
Въпреки че на моменти тази Мадхуря Гян може да е нещо може да пречи на тази връзка с Кришна, въпреки всичко нищо няма променя.
Just like when Krishna revealed his universal form to Mother Yashoda,
Например, когато Кришна разкрива вселенската си форма пред майка Йошода,
then yes, she could see the entire universe in Krishna's mouth.
Тя видяла цялата вселена в устата на Кришна.
But after a short while, very fraction of a second, she just thought, what is this? And then right after this, she told Krishna, now don't close your mouth and don't eat dirt again.
Тя секунда се удивила, казва, какво е всичко това? И само след минутка казва на Кришна, сега се затвори устата и повече никога не яш пръст.
Because her love for Krishna is so intense.
Защото любовта към Кришна е много силна.
Now we might raise one question.
И човек може да зададе един въпрос.
Now, did Krishna, while playing human-like pastimes, did he actually know that he is God?
Дали докато Кришна е в детските си забавления, да знам, че е Бог?
This is a very interesting question.
Това е много интересен въпрос.
Now, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he raises this question.
И Вишванатха Чакраварти Такур задава този въпрос.
He is so expert in raising question, analyzing subject matters, then giving proper explanation. So he's raising this question.
И той много вежливо задава въпроси, след това анализира тези теми и дава съответните отговори.
Because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Той задава този въпрос, защото е върховната божествена личност.
But if he knows that I am the Supreme Lord of everything, then how can he behave like a small, innocent child?
Но ако той знае, че е върховната божествена личност, как може тогава да се държи като малко невинно дете?
When Mother Yashoda wants to beat him with a stick, then he's crying.
Когато майка Йошода го гони, за да го набие с пръчка, той плаче.
Although he's crying false tears, so that mother might not beat him. Then he can escape. But still he's afraid. He's trembling, he's very much afraid. So now if you say, yes, of course he knows that he is the Supreme Lord himself, but then he would not be afraid of Mother Yashoda. How can God be afraid of somebody? And also, just like, or let's say, if you say he was simply pretending, then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says, it does not look good on learned devotees. How can he just pretend? I mean, would Mother Yashoda accept this? Your son is just, Krishna is just pretending to be your son. She would not accept. That relationship is real. So now, yeah, And also Queen Kunti, she prays in her prayers to Krishna.
И в молитвите си към Кришна царица Кунти казва:
Bhaya bhavanasya stitasya. Now he is afraid of fear. He is afraid, or he's afraid, she says. That proves that Kunti, she finds Krishna genuinely afraid in his heart. Therefore, Vimoha, she herself says, I'm confused, bewildered. Otherwise, if she knew that Krishna is just pretending, why should she be confused, bewildered? No, she knew, and therefore she says, although fear is afraid of Krishna, fear personified is afraid of Krishna. And yet Krishna is afraid of Mother Yashoda. Vimoha, this bewilders me. So he is not pretending that he is a child. But then we might raise another question. Because that means Krishna somehow, his own, his own knowledge that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it becomes covered. Then we might ask, by whom or by what becomes his eternally blissful, all-knowledgeable nature covered? And then the explanation is given here. The essence of Krishna's chit, or knowledge potency, is Krishna Prema. And that covers Krishna over, making him forget his actual identity for the sake of increasing his own ecstasy. Just like Maya, she covers the conditioned soul, and therefore the conditioned soul suffers. But when Yoga Maya covers the soul or Krishna, it increases, it gives pleasure, not suffering. Or the example also might be given, just like a rich person, a rich man. Now his body becomes covered by silk cloth, big turban, jewels. But that increases his pleasure. But if a prisoner, he also becomes covered by that striped suit. But that covering causes him suffering. But the silk garment of a rich person, that causes joy. Therefore Krishna's ignorance makes him happy. Because the devotees have bound Krishna's lotus feet with the robe of their love for Krishna. By the love of Mother Yashoda, etc., the devotees of Krishna, Krishna forgets his own godhood. But then you might raise another question.
тогава човек може да зададе друг въпрос.
Then, now what happens when some demon attacks Krishna?
Тогава, какво става, когато някой демон нападне Кришна?
What will he do then?
Какво тогава става?
The explanation is given.
И се дава следното обяснение.
If there's disturbance by demons or forest fire,
Ако някой демон го притеснява или пък има горски пожар,
then Krishna's Leela Shakti, the potency of his pastimes, Leela Shakti,
и тогава Лила Шакти на Кришна или енергията на неговите забавления
makes him aware of his own power.
му дава възможност да осъзнае собствената си могъчност.
Then Krishna instantly he knows, I am the supreme personality of Godhead.
Тогава Кришна, в същия този момент Кришна знава, аз съм върховната божествена личност.
What is the problem?
Проблем.
Forest fire?
Горски пожар?
Just sucks the forest fire. Finished.
И той просто изгълва горски пожар и се свършва.
Oh, some demon?
Някой демон.
Boom, smash him. But he only he does not do this just to protect himself, because he doesn't have to protect himself.
Той не прави това за да се защити, защото за него не е необходимо да се защитава.
He only does it in order to protect his devotees.
Той прави това само за да защити предано дадените си.
Therefore, his own energy of pastimes wakes Krishna up, and instantly he knows, I am the Supreme Lord.
И това, собствената му енергията на забавленията събужда Кришна и го кара да разбере в този момент, че той е божествената личност.
So these are some explanations.
И това са някои обяснения.
We shall. Now this time I spaced out. I went 20 minutes over.
Този път спесирах и с 20 минути. Лекцията беше 20 минути по-дълга.
So we have to immediately perform the arti.
И трябва веднага да започнем арти.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.